Well, hey there, everybody. Matt Kloskowski here, and we are going to take a look at a couple of little tricks for enhancing some of your fall colors. This is kind of based on a video I did inside of ON1 Plus in October, so some of it might look familiar, but I think you're going to find that there's one in here that's a little bit different, so hopefully you'll check it out. Let's start off here. I'm going to go to the develop module with this photo, and just about every fall photo I take is the colors don't quite live up to what I was hoping, because I don't live near anywhere that has fall colors, so I don't have the opportunity to go out whenever I want. I have to get on a plane to do it, so I never seem to time it quite right, but I get close. I would probably crop this one first, creatively crop it. I don't have an output size in mind, so I just crop it to whatever I would creatively think that it would be for, and kind of get in on the action over here, get as many of those dead trees out as possible. I'm in the develop module. Now, under tone and color, and this will change depending on when you're watching this. ON1 2019 is out. Some of you may even have a beta for it, and the full version, I believe, comes out sometime in November, but it's the layout is slightly changed. So if we're in develop, some basic things that I do would be kind of warm it a little bit. That's always going to help the colors, maybe a little bit more magenta and then a little bit of saturation. But you just have to be careful with all those sliders, because they will tend to get weird. So everything in moderation when it comes to these things. But they give you a good start. And I think even a little bit of structure overall just helps us, not necessarily with the colors, but overall in the photo. So from here, we're going to head over into effects, and that's because, in the 2018 version that I'm using now, effects has the color filter. If I go and I add a filter, you'll see the color enhancer. Now, I could add HSL, hue, saturation, luminance inside of develop, but I'm going to kind of keep this. I always try to keep those things separate, so that's why I'm doing it inside of effects. And when you're using 2019, which again, I'm using 2018 here, when you're using 2019, you actually have to come over here to do it. Okay, so we'll go over here to color enhancer. And interestingly enough, it's got one called fall that works really, really well. So just click on it, and it does give a nice little boost to especially a lot of the oranges and reds in there. You can, of course, go in here and kind of tone down the opacity if you wanted to. So that does a good job. Let me go in there and just kind of backtrack a little bit and get to where I hadn't clicked on a preset. And to give you an idea a little bit about what's going on down here, what I'm thinking is if I go to the reds, I can then kind of play a little bit with the red hue and kind of cheat what wasn't red a little bit more toward red. Reds are a good color for fall. They really stand out. Same thing with orange. I can go what was a little bit yellow and kind of cheat that a little bit more toward red. A little bit yellow-orange and kind of get some more reds in there as well. Yellows is where I can go and take some green things and make those a little bit more fall-like. So you can definitely get a lot of bang for your buck inside of your yellows. And then greens is I can try to push a little bit more of those greens toward yellow. It's not always going to work, but it's definitely worth a quick try inside of there. So if I were to turn what I just did here on and off, you see that's before and that's after. So you can go the manual route if you feel like you're getting more control, or you just go and click on that preset, which again does a good job, and you can kind of poke around through the sliders down here and see what it was doing. All right, as you click down the little color sliders, and you can kind of get a feel for what it was doing and how it was different from what I did, and maybe even, pull back if you see it kind of getting a little bit too saturated without necessarily pulling the opacity back. You can go into each one and just pull it back a little bit too. So overall, this is our before, and then that's our after. And of course, my favorite little finishing touch for any photo like this, especially that this was taken from a hot air balloon, is a nice little vignette, which is too dark on Big Softy, but gives you a nice little finishing touch there. Okay. All right, let's take a look at one more here. So this one is this one's interesting because this is going to use. We're going to go straight into effects for this one. Of course, you would do any shadows and highlights, and we could go to develop and do just that. Boost our shadows a little bit, pull back on the highlights. I would probably crop this one a little bit too, just get some of that bright stuff off of the top. If I have a specific output in mind, I'll crop to that output size. But right now I don't, so I'll just crop creatively. I can always go back and change it. And I'll hop over here to effects. And so what we're going to use here is I'm going to go in here and add a LUT filter. Okay, so we're going to go over to the Luntz filter. We're going to add that. And there's one that I'm going to use, and then I'm going to show you how to get it, because you're probably not going to have it installed unless you've already downloaded it. But it's in a free sample pack that I have. I'm going to go on free sample pack, and it's called Crisp, Warm, Soft. It actually comes from a lookup table that was created inside of Photoshop, and I was able to save it and make it work here inside of ON1. So just take a look at the difference here. I know it's a little overdone, but when it comes to fall colors, take a look at how it really pops a lot of those colors inside of there. Then, of course, we do have opacity, so we can come over here and pull back on that opacity and kind of get it to fit in, because it's going to look different on every one of your photos. So, I have it on this photo, but I could always go switch over to another photo here and head over to effects. Again, I'd go in and add that filter there. We'll go down to LUTs. Go to my free sample folder and take a look. So again, totally different, right? Has a totally different look and feel. So the amount that you change the opacity definitely changes here. You can change saturation, contrast. So there's definitely there's some fun things that you can do in there. But that's one of my go-to fall color things. So what you can do is if you don't have it, you can go grab it over at mattk.com/LUTs, LUTS. Again, it's mattk.com/LUTs. And if you click, there's a little free option in the top menu there. It'll take you where you can download a free pack. And that's where you get those. It even has an installation video. And there's a big sale on, I've got basically my big LUT package that you can use inside of ON1. There's a big sale going on for that as well. So if you're interested in that package, you can check that out on the same website, mattk.com/LUTs. All right. Folks, hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we will talk to you again real soon.